What's up, y'all? Let's do some hot takes. Last week, I asked you guys to drop your hot takes. You did a really good job. I got some from across all my social platforms. Twitter gave me some, TikTok gave me some, Instagram gave me some, and of course, the Discord gave me some. Is where I'm gonna do a shameless plug to the Discord. If you want to get priority for the hot takes videos, or if you just want to be a part of a budding basketball community, join the Discord. Links in the bio, of course. Some of the other members are way more active than I am, but usually if I'm watching a game, I'm active in the Discord. So pull up. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get into these hot takes. Y'all sent some interesting ones. First up, we got Ninja Dills on Twitter. He says he prefaces it with, and that killed me. Welcome to Ninja did not watch a lot of basketball this season, so he posts hot takes he thinks are true, but mostly are bad. PJ Tucker signing sucked. He's hated PJ Tucker signing all season. I understand that. Joel Embiid will sadly never win any MVP. I don't think that's the case, but with Philly's luck, it wouldn't surprise me. Doc Rivers should be fired. I'm split on Doc. Some days I'm like, fire Doc. Some days I'm not too mad at him. Right now, it's not like fire him because I just want him out because he's been completely incompetent all season. It just really depends on who his replacement would be. I don't want to fire him just to get somebody else who's even worse. The Nets never needed KD nor Kyrie. That's a crazy, interesting take. But they started down that road when they did the sign and trade for D'Lo. Like they had that young core, very similar to what they look like now, but the young core who was just had a little culture building. People were believing in them and they were just fun to watch. They went for the superstar route. It didn't work. We'll see what their future looks like. He continues on. Mikal Bridges in a better scenario than he was in Phoenix. You know what's crazy? I don't know if I necessarily completely agree with this, but I will say Mikal Bridges, obviously, because he just has more opportunity to score, more opportunity to be the number one. Like Mikal obviously is the number one guy on the offensive side of the ball for the Nets right now. And he's thriving in that role, putting up numbers he's never put up in Phoenix. I want to say he's already had more either 30 or 40-point games in his time with the Nets than he ever had when his time in Phoenix. I apologize. I don't remember if it's more 30-point or more 40-point. I want to say more 40-point. He was just player of the month last month. Was he player of the month last month or player of the week last week? He's been hooping. Either way, he's been hooping. This feels all over the place, but he's been hooping. Dallas and Phoenix both lost their trades. Phoenix, I'm not going to say lost the trade because KD's still there. Like he's under contract for the next couple of years. Phoenix's trade was a no-brainer. If I'm Phoenix Suns, I'm making that trade 100 out of 100 times. Like without hesitation, I'm pulling the trigger on that trade. Dallas, on the other hand, I agree that Dallas, I don't think they're necessarily going to regret the trade itself. I think they're just going to regret the way they've been running their organization for the last 3 years. They've just tried to do a lot and none of it's panned out. And I think they're going to get to the point where they're trading away more and more picks. They're going to have less flexibility to make moves. And they're going to find themselves in a spot where Luka might want to leave. It would not surprise me. Bucks will make it to the finals. Hey, I just saw the Bucks dismantle the Sixers the other night. It's not impossible. I'll just say that. Giannis looks amazing. Drew, we talked about him in the last video at length. He looks amazing. Y'all know I'm high on Bobby Portis. I like it. None of the 4 to 12 seeds of the Western Conference will get to the Western Conference Finals, and Giannis will win MVP. Giannis MVP talks have been recirculating over the last 2 weeks. I know when that straw poll came out that it was clearly Embiid and then Jokic were very close, and then there was a little bit of a gap, and then Giannis was there. But the more I'm just hearing the talking heads talk, you know what I mean? I'm listening to the podcast, I'm watching the clips, and Giannis's name is rightfully so, I think, getting some more respect over this last week and a half. And the 4 through 12 seeds of the Western Conference will not get, well, the 4 through 12 seeds in the West will not get to the Western Conference. Honestly, I disagree. I do think some of the teams in the West, call me a bandwagon or whatever, I'm not fans of these teams, but I see the possibility. I truly believe that the West is fairly open. Like the Lakers could make something happen. The Warriors could make something happen. Obviously, the Suns, I believe, are the 4 seed off the top of my head, if I'm not mistaken. So obviously, they can make something happen if KD's healthy throughout the finals. I think for a lot of the 4 through 12 seeds, it's just health. If everyone's healthy in there for the majority, if not all, the Clippers come in mind as well. If Paul George comes back, if these Western Conference teams that are in that, the Clippers, the Warriors, the Suns, the Lakers, if they're healthy and playing well, giving all respect to teams like the Kings, the Grizzlies, the Nuggets, those teams are deservedly in 1 through 3 in the West. But you just got to put some respect on them teams that's lurking. You have to. You have to at least have them thought about it because it's not impossible. Appreciate you for sending them in, though, Ninja. Appreciate you. Unlimited in the Discord says, if I'm the Rockets, I'm taking Brandon Miller over Scoot because of the size with Scoot and Green as a backcourt. and Miller's a solid defender and great shooter. I get that there's a concern about the size in the backcourt. I would love Scoot to go to the Rockets personally. First off, let me just disclaim, y'all already know I don't be knowing about the draft that well. So, you know what I mean? As a take in itself, I don't know nothing for real, when it comes to Brandon Miller and Scoot Henderson. I do not pay attention to college ball for real until the end of the NBA. But going based off of solely what you said here in terms of Miller is a solid defender and a great shooter, from my understanding of Scoot and for what I know about Scoot and from the one game I've seen of him when he played Wemby, the one takeaway that I have, or the one thought I have when it comes to Scoot is, I've been saying forever, the Rockets need a playmaker. The Rockets need a point guard that come in and could run an offense. I think Scoot could be that for him. Now, I might have a misunderstanding of Scoot. If that's the case, let me know in the comments down below. Call me a casual. That's cool with me. Because admittedly, I do not watch college basketball like that. So it is what it is. And then continuing on, Clippers might blow it up if they lose to the Suns. I like this. I like that thought process because I don't know if it's going to be a complete blow it up thing. But if they mess around and lose to the Suns, if they don't get past the second round, because I think that probably is a goal for them, this will be another year where they don't get past the second round. We know they had that Western Conference Finals run in the bubble. I believe that was the bubble with the year after. I might be getting my years mixed up. The year after, sorry. My point here is, though, the Clippers just, we've said this at length before, it just always feels like they're an injury's messing them up. I will say I love the addition of Russell Westbrook. It started off rough, but it's been looking great. Him and Kawhi actually have been looking pretty good lately since Paul George has been out. That photo of Russ on the ground, fire as flick of the season. And to continue on, his last one is the Wolves are dark horse contenders in the West. It's funny. If you'd have said this like a week ago, you did say this like a week ago, they were, I want to say 4-1 in their last 5. Since then, I want to say they're either 0-3 or 0-4. They're looking a little worse. I'm going to keep my eye on them these last couple of games leading into the regular season because I really want to just look at them and see how Cat is doing and then simulate into one, really playing defense on the perimeter and just how the offense is looking. We know we talked about it in length last time that I wasn't liking how he was being used offensively. It was just a lot of perimeter work for him, and I wanted to see him get closer to the paint. Not the whole time, but just a couple touches closer to the paint. So I don't have them dark horse contenders personally. I just don't see it. Ninja went ahead and doubled down and gave us a couple on the Discord as well. And I like this one a lot. He says, no one in the Western Conference can compete with the East's Bucks or Celtics for whoever makes it out of the playoffs. Y'all know me, I'm a Sixers fan, but I'm gonna let it rock. I think the Bucks and Celtics probably are more so favorites to make it out of the East than the Sixers. I'm cool with it. Y'all know who I'm rooting for though. But I do like this take. I truly think, to me, if it's the Bucks and Celtics, I think either of them could beat almost whoever comes out of the West. Truly think, because they've been playing consistently good all season long. They know where their guys are going to be. It's second nature to them. The Lakers, when you just think about some of the other teams, like when I think about the Lakers first, they looked good lately, but it's still not, I don't think, second nature because some of those guys, a lot of those guys are new at the deadline. The Warriors can't win on the road. The Kings, I love them. People say no playoff experience. Nuggets, I like them too. Truthfully, I personally don't necessarily have any gaping hole with the Nuggets. Like when I think about some of the other teams, I can see some more, I don't know, whatever. The Nuggets seem like a really well-oiled machine to me. But the last time I called a team a really well-oiled machine were the Suns, and they got embarrassed to Dallas. So maybe I don't know what I'm talking about. It's okay. But I do like the idea and can to an extent agree the Bucks and Celtics are probably stronger than a lot of the teams in the West. I can agree with that for sure. All right, next hot take we have, ironically, is from our mod. And it wasn't until when I started to record this and went to say his name out loud, realizing what he was trying to get us to say. So we're just going to ignore it. It's our mod. It's a funny joke, but not funny haha. All right. Raptors are a good defensive scheme over commitment. The Raptors are funny to me because in the beginning of the season, I was like, cool. Or I guess I'll say the first half of the season, I was loving the Raptors defense. I was still saying they needed a big. I like that they picked up Pirtle. He's working out for them somewhat. I also going to keep it a B. Have not been locked into the Mavs over the last month. Locked into the Raptors over the last month. I'm just going to keep it a being with you right now. However, during at least half the season, OG was in consideration for Defense Player of the Year. Like all season long, it was like OG. And trade rumors was going around. He was looked at to be as a big trade piece because of his defensive impact and versatility. But when you look it up, the Raptors are kind of middle of the pack defensively. 14th best defense in the league. Not bad by any means, but not, I don't think, as good as they want to be. I will say, to your point, though, of just saying good defensive scheme, when I watch them, they do play good defense because they part of that overcommitment, there's, I guess, some risk to it. If you miss the commit, a team can score and stuff like that. But that rangy defense, everybody like 6'8" and up, it works for them. So I'm not mad at it. It's just maybe not as good as I thought it was going to be. John Stockton, a bad playmaker. Y'all, I talk about this all the time. Go watch NBA Storytellers videos about John Stockton. I don't really have an opinion on Stockton, to be honest with you. I'm not going back and watching a whole bunch of Utah Jazz games and rewatching this man's career to get a full understanding of his impact. I respect his game just based off the sheer numbers that he put up. You know what I mean? But if you want to have just an interesting perspective on John Stockton, I'll find a couple and link them below. Go watch NBA. They're a couple years old, but they're phenomenal videos. Go watch NBA Storytellers videos on John Stockton. Why Not is the best duo in the NBA currently. Kawhi and Russ. If you don't know Kawhi, Why Not? Russ's label name, whatever. We just talked about that. I love what they're doing. Marcus Morris is a terrorist. Okay. Robert Covington will be a 30-minute per game for any contender. I like Robert Covington a lot, but he's definitely not a 30-minute a game guy to me. Robert Covington is like a great, depending on the matchup, you might plug and play him in different spots. You need him to guard a bigger player, he can do that. You need him to be on the perimeter, he can do that. I don't think he's not as good as a defender as back as like his Philly and Timberwolves days, but he's still really good defensively and a solid shooter as well. Most of the Rockets player will be out of the league if they don't get veteran leadership. I like this take a lot, and it's something I will be keeping my eye on. I don't necessarily think they'll be out of the league, but I've been saying it all season that this team needs veteran leadership. We talked about it last week. Other players have said it. That team needs some leadership. Things need to change in Houston. We'll see what happens. Apparently Harden's going there. This was interesting. This is just something I polled y'all on YouTube and the community page. I'm trying to use that more for polls and just like ideas and stuff. Very similar to Twitter, just on the community page as well. All in one thing. I'm testing something. Don't mind me. But I asked y'all, so it was after the Celtics beat the Bucks. It was 140-99. That crazy. They were up by like 40 points in the third. Giannis didn't play all of the third. Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown basically didn't play in the fourth. I mean, not the third, the fourth. And I still asked who will win the Eastern Conference, because I was just curious. Anybody gonna be prisoner of the moment? Stuff like that. 40 votes. 48% went to the Bucks. I was shocked that 33% went to the Sixers. And then 15% went to the Celtics. It could be maybe most of y'all know. Most of y'all could be also Sixers fans. Y'all know I'm a Sixers fan, so that's why y'all watch. But I was surprised to see the Sixers here. Shout out to us. But I'm not surprised to see the Bucks still there. I was just curious if people were gonna be prisoner in the moment. Y'all weren't. Maybe as we do more hot takes videos, I'll include more polls that we do. All right, then we posted it on Instagram and got some responses back as well. So Matt X says Russell Westbrook is better all time than CP3 and John Stockton. And then, ironically, as I was getting these notes together and grabbing these screenshots, I came across this TikTok that I want to share with you all, and then we'll talk about it.
Not talking to top notch finds a better player all time than Russell Westbrook. Here we go. We got Baron Davis, Tracy McGrady, Chris Paul, Vince Carter, Ray Allen, Jerry West, James Harden, Dwayne Wade. Hold on. hold on. Paul Pierce, Tim Duncan.
Tim Duncan's better than Russell Westbrook.
Nah, my man paused on Tim Duncan. Let me hear this explanation before I cut him off. Go ahead.
Westbrook, man.
Hold on. No, whoa. Dwayne Wade, Jerry West, Paul Pierce.
Well, let's be honest. Paul Pierce, Jerry West, bro, I don't want to hear none of these bums. Chris Paul, Baron Davis, none of these bums.
I just thought that was ironic that I saw that video almost the same time I went to go take these screenshots. Y'all know I love Russ, right? Y'all know I love Russ. I'm an undercover OKC fan. I've been a fan of Russ since he came into the league. It gets a little murky when you start comparing Russ to CP3. CP3, top five, one of the top 5 point guards of all time, but Russ has an MVP. Semantics. You throw John Stockton in the mix as well. Also one of those guys considered the top all time. Semantics. The pause for Tim Duncan was crazy, but I'm going to keep it a beam. I'm taking Wade over all of those guys, just in terms of career and success and just the talent level of players and what they was able to do on both sides of the ball. Absolutely insane to me. It is what it is. I think there's a conversation for Russ better than CP3 and John Stockton all time. I think it just depends on what you want out of your point guard. I think it's a uphill battle, and I don't think many people will agree with you if you make that claim, but I'll just say it's not crazy. I don't necessarily agree. I would say CP3 is a better point guard than Russ. And you already know how I feel about John Stockton. So it's not crazy. I just don't know if I agree. Chase Langer says Bulls make it out of the play-in into the playoffs and make it past the first round. Okay, I can see the Bulls making it out of the play-in and making it to the first round of the playoffs. But the way it's looking, they're going up against either the Celtics or the Bucks, and there's no way they're making it out of the first round. But shout out to the Bulls for, clawing, fighting, and keeping Bev's streak alive, hopefully. Mad X came back with healthy Clippers are the best team in the West. It is not close. I love the Clippers, but we've loved the Clippers for years. We've said for years that the Clippers are such a deep team. The only gap I see in the Clippers and the way they're orchestrated, I just wish they had a better backup big. I love Zubac, but if Zubac's not on the court, they're running Covington at the 5. And considering you're looking at a playoffs, especially in the Western Conference, with the likes of Anthony Davis and Jokic, but then guys like Ja Morant who like to attack the rim crazy. Just a couple of teams like that out there. Sabonis, another really, really good big. I just wish they had a little bit more size in their front court to be able to protect the rim a little bit more. Because as much as I love Zubac, and he's still, don't get me wrong, he's a solid, I'm going to put rim protector in quotation marks because it's not necessarily blocks and jumping to contest shots, but it's a lot of verticality. He's just a strong, big body, so he just be in the way. I see it, but I don't. To me, I wouldn't say, I'm gonna keep it a bean. The best team in the Western Conference healthy is the Lakers. I'm gonna call it a spade a spade. The best team as currently constructed, completely healthy is the Lakers. To me, call me a hater, say what it is, whatever, yada, yada, yada. The Clippers are up there, but to me, they're just not the best in the West if healthy. Shout out to my guy, John the Ninja. Nets need to redo management. I get where he's coming from here. He's a huge Nets fan. He's one of my boys in real life. But I will say, John, just to let you know, and I think the future's bright. I get it. This has been an extremely frustrating year for diehard Nets fans, but I think the last month and a half post the trade, once the emotions died down from the fact that you just blew up this super team, the future is bright. Like we said earlier, Mikal Bridges is playing amazing. You got a good player in Cam Thomas, Nick Claxton. I love his game. Spencer Dinwiddie's kind of being like this good vet for you guys. Seth Curry is a sharpshooter. Durham Finney-Smith is bringing some defense and shooting. Like the team as a whole, shout out to Yuta Watanabe as well. The team as a whole, at least constructed right now, they're good. Y'all got a lot of really good role players. I don't even want to jump the gun and say all y'all missing is a star, because as soon as the Nets go star hunting, they fumble it. Go back to Paul Pierce and KG when they made that big trade and traded away their whole future. And then what they just did basically 10 years later with Dags. I got to look and see how many years apart those were, because I feel like that was almost like a 10-year gap between the Paul Pierce KG failure and the Harden KD Kyrie failure. So it doesn't look good for the Nets when they try to go star hunting. When they just a young team that's trying to build some culture, everybody loves them. As soon as they go star hunting, it's horrible. So maybe they do need to redo management, because their management doesn't know how to manage stars. So I guess I do see where you're coming from there. I changed my mind. But that's all I got for you guys today. Hopefully you enjoyed this. This was fun for me, because I really just like taking a pulse of the community, seeing what y'all all think. If y'all enjoy this and want to do more, we might start doing it on not a crazy frequent basis. I gotta let y'all build y'all takes up, but maybe like once a month, once every month and a half type thing. Might even do a couple more in the summer because it might be a little dead. But anyway, if you made it this far, you already know you're a real one. And I'll catch you in the next one. I'm out. Peace.